Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about failure. How does the structure of your practice and how you work allow for productive failure?
You haven't failed if you've already once created the work, like the urge and like the braveness to submit the work. You had to showcase it. A lot of artists that I've met and seen out there, they do amazing work, but they're uncomfortable with showcasing their work. Like, yo man, you should do a gallery show. Oh no, I don't want to show my stuff. I'm like, oh, so you gotta just sit in your closet. The failure aspect is more worldly than it is internally, I would say. I think as the artist, or I've done what I needed to do, and I think because I want to go into this journey or this lane as submitting it for a gallery or getting it represented or in this contest where there's this prize and all these accolades. That's where your brain starts to be like, oh well, your stuff's not good, and it's like, no, not really. It just means that what you're doing is either not ready to be seen or got overlooked, and that doesn't mean that you're a failure at it, but it should allow you to push even further, to push harder. I've said to artists and peers alike to say you're gonna hear more no's than you hear yeses. I think it has nothing to do with your work or whatever. You think about the time when I was out for college and was shopping my work in the galleries, and didn't realize that there was galleries that were they only focused on this type of art, this type of style. We only represent this region or this region. I just thought, just based off of what I perceived as a kid, you get your portfolio book, you hit the gallery scene, you're gonna shop your work. One of the things that that was kind of a shocker was I got my first taste of what that world was like, where I went confident as a young artist, hitting the pavement, hitting these galleries up, and they're we only show artists from Europe, or we only show this type of art. And it's just it's not to sound cliche, failure's not an option. It really isn't. You're gonna create it. I'm gonna create it. I'm gonna constantly push myself to do what's right. With what the piece is telling me to do. I think over time, as you progress, you kind of don't have to worry about failure to where the point where you can pick and choose, because I think every time, when we first start off, you just want to hit every art show, see my work, see, and you get the opportunity. But I think over time, if you're serious, or if you're just absorbing it all, you'll know okay, I did good with this, but this particular event not so great. So I'm gonna slow down on this and work more with these, with this group or with this scene, and and navigate through there. So having failure is to not follow the other's blueprint. Not every you see one successful story, and it's what did they do? They did this. I'm gonna do that, and it's okay, and sometimes it doesn't tend to play out that way.